Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast, your favorite team in the Bay Area. And on today's episode, we are back from Christmas break. So we're going to preview the Canucks game and then talk some World Juniors since Filip Bystedt and Ben Gaudreau both played on Monday. So we're going to give my thoughts on that. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked on Sharks.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin, San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube as well. And we're back. Sorry, we missed an episode yesterday. Spending time with the family. So, wanted to do that. So, it's all right. We're back on the grinds here as we start to this kind of meaningful time between December and the trade deadline. This is where I think you're going to start to see more kind of trades pick up in the NHL. You're going to see kind of the contenders and the have-nots and the pretenders, I guess the better word, start to kind of weed themselves out. And we're going to see probably some more clarification in the NHL season. This is a big kind of jump here, this January, February stretch. And from what we've seen from the Sharks so far this season, it looks like they're heading towards themselves a top 5 pick. And we here at Locked on Sharks will be adjusting and getting you ready for the 2023 draft. So draft coverage is going to be starting here in January. And if you're new to the show or you're just kind of learning this your first season, so when we get to the draft coverage, I'll have Will Scouch will kick off the draft coverage with me. We'll kind of do a big preview, and then we will profile probably about 20 to 30 different players with different scouts and, internet folk, guys like Tony Ferrari, Will Scouch, there's a bunch of, now we have Haiti from Locked On NHL Prospects. Come on, and we will kind of deep dive into these draft prospects and learn more about them. And, my goal this year is to have, especially since the Sharks are probably going to be a top 10, hopefully top 5, hopefully number 1 pick, but kind of focus on the first half of the draft. And then kind of this year, focus on those end of the first round, beginning of the second round type of guys that the Sharks will probably be picking at before or again. So this year, especially since they actually have a second round draft pick this year. So don't want to, kind of like last year, we kind of caught with our pants pulled down because they traded back and Sharks didn't have a second round pick. So I didn't even really look at second round guys. So this year we're going to make sure we have you guys fully covered. So, but yes, got a fun bunch of interviews coming up. Got draft coverage getting ready to get started here soon. So a lot going on here at Locked on Sharks. So the Sharks might stink, but we're going to have a lot of fun still. So, but yeah, the Sharks and Canucks are going to be kind of kicking off here after the Christmas break as the Sharks head to Vancouver. Haven't really had practice, so by the time you guys hear this, we'll have a morning skate, but it's been pretty quiet. Tomas Hertl is going to be back, so you can assume he's going to slide back into his top line role. Sharks injury-wise, nobody else is kind of dealing with minor stuff, all the same. Of course, Luke Cunningham is out. All the normal guys are out right now. So no kind of major, no injuries updates right now for that type of for that. So we're gonna dig into the Canucks, kind of look at how their season's going, how the Sharks are going to match up these guys as the Canucks are starting to kind of turn things around here, especially after a super slow start. So again, for the Sharks, don't really with Hertl coming back in, that's going to put him on the top line, of course, right? It'll be interesting to see what they do with the second line, because it's been Couture, Barabanov, Nieto, Couture, Barabanov, Bonino. Now that we actually have everyone back here, it'll be interesting to see what they do there. I would probably, if it was my guess, I'm going to say we'll probably see Meyer, Hurdle, LeBanc, Couture, Barabanov, and I'm going to say Bonino, right? Then I think we see like a Noah Gregor. Actually, no, we'll probably go Nieto, Sturm, Svechnikov, and Gadovich, Lawrence, Lindblom. That would be my guess. And then Noah Gregor would be the healthy scratch in that situation. Defensive pairs, Shimmick was a healthy scratch last game. We'll see. We'll see who comes back in. Probably going to be Megna, Carlson, Vlasic, Benning. And then if it's Ferraro, Shimmick, or Ferraro, Harrington on the third pair. And then I would expect James Reimer to start this game just because, they haven't played in a while. So well-rested James Reimer. On the Canucks front, so here's how they lined up last game. They're dealing with a little bit of an injury still. Filip Giuseppe is out with IR. But again, some of these guys might be eligible to return. He's out for So he potential as a return. Travis Dermott, Tucker Pullman, Tanner Pearson are all on IR. Thatcher Demko and Elias Peterson. Demko is out, and Peterson was ill, so he'll be fine. Actually, Demko, is out 6 weeks with a lower body injury, so do not expect him back. Poor Canucks. Starting to figure things out, and then it all goes to poop. This is how they lined up last game, where Elias Peterson scored 5 points. So you have first line. Again, this could be much different, especially I'm not sure how with Peterson back where he is going to slide in. I know they've been kind of playing with their lines a lot, but Ilya Mikheyev, Bo Horvat, Connor Garland, Dakota Joshua killed the Sharks last game. JT Miller and Brock Besser. Andrei Kuzminko, Elias Pettersson, Lane Peterson, old friend Lane Peterson, Sheldon Dries, Nils Almond, Curtis Lazar. And then in the blue line, you have Quinn Hughes, Tyler Myers, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Luke Shen, Riley Stillman, and Kyle Burrows. And then in goal, especially with Demko out, Colin DeLea and Spencer Martin. So that is how they lined up last time. We'll know more actually once they get a morning skate in and stuff. So for these teams, but again, Sharks relatively healthy, right? All the major guys are still out. Does sound like Shang Peng did report that Knizov targeting end of January, beginning of February to return, which would be great. I would assume he would probably start in the Barracuda. They can send him down for a conditioning stint before he comes back up to play with the Sharks. So that's great news. Getting some more, more relief on the blue line. We know especially how well him and Carlson played together. It'd be great for him to kind of get back out there. So. But before we continue, and then we discuss how these teams match up, kind of where the Sharks, kind of their road to victory. And then, of course, we're going to end today's episode by talking about World Juniors. Do want to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. Today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. So you have college football bowl season right now. You got pro football, of course. We're down to the final 2 weeks before the playoffs. You have basketball. You have college basketball. You have World Juniors right now. They've got you all covered at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, which you do because you're listening to one right now, you can find those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info in. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so the Sharks Canucks tonight. Last time these guys played, Canucks, of course, put it kind of to the Sharks a little bit, but it was 6-5. It was a very entertaining game. So I forgot how. we are getting the reverse retros again from the Sharks. I'm not sure on the Canucks, but that was a very, very nice jersey matchup. So, but yeah, this is it's gonna be interesting because they only play one more time after this game in March. So already closing the season series, which is really weird since their first game was the 27th, which Vancouver won 4-3. Next game was December 7th. The Canucks won 6-5, and it feels like there's probably going to be a lot of goals in this one too, just because of how poor both the defenses play. And there's just a lot of guys who can score goals on the ice. So let's get into how these teams match up. So pretty very mirror, very, very close with these. So 5-on-5 goals for, Canucks ranked 14th, Sharks ranked 15th. So very similar offenses. 5-on-5 expected goals for, Sharks ranked 20th, Canucks ranked 25th. So Sharks generate more expected goals for, but as we'll get to here in a minute, the Canucks are much just better at finishing on those goals. So 5-on-5 Corsi for, so shot attempts, Sharks ranked 23rd, Canucks ranked 27th. Power play goals, Sharks ranked 15th, Canucks ranked 8th. And then finishing, Sharks ranked 14th, Canucks ranked 3rd. So both these teams struggle to generate consistent shot attempts, right? They're definitely in the bottom third in that department, but they do generate above average in goals, and the Canucks much, much better, right? With their expected goals for at 5-on-5 25th, but their actual goals is 14th. They're kind of overproducing what they're expected. So Sharks are doing it too, just not at the same level as the Canucks. Defensively, 5v5 goals against, Sharks ranked 30th, Canucks ranked 28th. 5-on-5 expected goals against, Sharks ranked 17th, the Canucks ranked 31st. 5-on-5 Corsi for, Sharks ranked 21st, Canucks ranked 22nd. And then PK goals against, Sharks ranked 2nd, the Canucks are 32nd, dead last. And then goaltending, the Sharks are 28th, and the Canucks are dead last as well. So again, both these teams are not great at kind of limiting the shots, and then when they do give up the shots, they are kind of letting in goals. Capo Kakinen, we've discussed at length on this podcast, and even James Reimer is kind of at that average level compared to last year, where he was spectacular. Not to say James Reimer is having a bad season, but it's hard to just kind of maintain that spectacular season that he was having. So this has all the feelings of another kind of 4, 5, 6 goals for each team, and just who can ever A, score the last goal, or B, make a stop. That's the feeling for this game. So offense and shooting comparison, if you want to dive into a little bit deeper. So again, the goals for both are pretty similar to 2.6. Expected goals for, again, the Canucks are just outproducing that just a little bit at 2.4 for them. The power play for the Canucks is deadly. So the Sharks, we know how good the Sharks PK is, but they've been showing some cracks kind of the last month, right? So the Sharks are PK is definitely going to have its work cut out for it against this power play. So you need to stay out of the box. The old cliche. So need to kind of stay out of the box and try not to give this Canucks power play a bunch of opportunities, because they have a lot of guys who can score. And defensively, Sharks are the better defensive team, which is something that's weird to say, but they are the better defensive team in this matchup. I know the goals allowed are pretty similar here at 3.1 to 3.2 in favor of the Canucks, but the Sharks just have better kind of defensive numbers and kind of limiting the shots attempts, and then the Canucks just want to play run and gun type of, and they don't care what happens. And then the PK for the Canucks is absolutely abysmal, and it has been for the past couple of years. So this feels very much a special teams. Whoever special teams can kind of win the day. Play driving, both relatively similar. The Sharks, again, slight advantage with their goals. 4% as at 40. Canucks have a slight advantage there, but kind of the rest, the underlying numbers are more in favor of the Sharks, where expected goals for, they're 20th, kind of working their way into the middle third. Corsi for 24th, so a little bit better than the Canucks, where they're 47th percentile, while the Sharks are 48th percentile. Goals for minus expected goals for is minus 0.1, while the so a little bit, right? Just some of the underlying numbers are a little bit more favorable towards the Sharks, while the Canucks have again, they're poor defensively. So again, I think whichever team, right, haven't played in a while, going to need to kind of shake off the rest. I expect the 5-1-5 to be very, very even between these teams, right? We know the Canucks, they have a lot of guys, especially if Elias Pettersson's playing on the third line. If he continues to play on the third line, again, we'll see. I don't know if they had him there to try to maybe limit his minutes, especially coming back. Well, he was a game time decision last game. If they can kind of limit that, well, the Sharks are more of a kind of a top heavy line we've discussed, right, with Hertl, Meyer, and then LeBanc. And we saw, we've seen Couture and Barabanov been able to kind of add some more here and there, but I think the 5-on-5 is going to be pretty even between the two teams, right? The goals for Sharks are 21st at 3.06, while the Canucks are 8th at 3.39, but the goals allowed, the Sharks are 3.57, 26th, while the Canucks are 3.88. So the Sharks power play can take advantage of a really poor Canucks penalty kill, and if the Sharks PK can just slow down this game, the Canucks a little bit, keep it even at 5-on-5, that's going to be your road to victory. And then James Reimer, especially a well-rested James Reimer, I feel Reimer's going to have a good game. Even if he gives up like 3 or 4 goals in this game, I still feel like Reimer's going to have a good game, just because, again, both these teams like to score, and they like to score in bunches. We've seen the last couple of games where both these teams have put up a lot of goals. So, the Canucks have scored average of 5 goals a game, and when these teams have met, and the Sharks have scored an average of 4 goals a game. So that feels very, very much kind of what we're going to expect to see tonight as well. I would assume it's going to be Reimer versus Martin. Reimer 2.99 goals against average, 904 save percentage. Martin 3.66 goals against average and 8.84. So this feels like a lot of goals. I would definitely take the over in here. Prediction though, I think the Sharks, we know that they can be a little slow coming out of the gates. I think the Canucks take advantage of that. And the Sharks are kind of playing catch up for the rest of the game. Give me the Canucks 6-4 in an entertaining game, but the first period kind of, snowballs a little bit for the Sharks here, and then they're playing catch up all night. So give me 3 points from Karlsson, though. I think we have Karlsson, Pettersson, the Swedes show off. So give me 3 points from each. But yes, sorry, Sharks. Got to keep eyes on the prize for the bigger things here. So before we continue and talk about World Juniors, talk about Filip Bysted's great day, Ben Gaudreau's not so great day. Do want to take a break, let you guys know. Thank you guys, of course, for making Locked On Sharks your first listen every day. Now, make sure to go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today available on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so World Juniors officially kicked off today. Team Sweden played Austria. It was a bloodbath as expected. But it's a little hard to take, Bystedt did a good job. He filled up the stat sheet. He had 2 goals and an assist. Was definitely noticeable in the ice. He was getting power play opportunities. was playing with Carlson, which again, if the Sharks are picking third, getting Carlson's really good. Like anywhere in the top 5, you're probably going to be really happy with this draft. But anyway, but wanting to kind of dig into, it's hard to take away from playing an inferior opponent, which again, Austria is kind of fighting for a regular, they don't want to get regulated. We're back to that with World Juniors again. And Team Sweden is, arguably a top 4 team in this, they're going to be playing in a medal game. So, but there's still things to take away. And there's a lot of stuff I liked from Bystedt's game today. He's definitely, I don't think he's kind of carrying his game out there, but he's doing a lot of the little things that coaches like, right. His pressure on a back check is what led to Sweden's first goal, right? I think it was the defenseman was trying to work his way out, start the transition. Bystedt coming up, applying some pressure, caused the turnover. Boom, other way. Sweden scores from there. So, and you saw a lot of that. I think his back checking. I've gotten to watch a couple games here or there, but it's tough to watch. Tough to watch SHL games because they're on weird times and all that fun stuff, right? So I've gotten to see a couple of his games, but I really liked his back checking. He's really good at, especially I know he's a big guy, but he's also put on some weight, and yes, he is playing teenagers right now, but his net front presence, that's going to be kind of his bread and butter. And that's how he scored on one of the power play goals, was literally just standing there and having it ricochet off of him. But they don't ask how, they just ask how many, right? And that was one of his goals. So and then also on his first goal of the game, though, I thought he did a really good job of finding some open space, getting open, and then was able to pot home a goal. He should have actually had a hat trick because he had an excellent shot that was just denied. It was an absolute robbery early in the game where he was kind of coming down the wall, and then the same beautiful pass to him. He had a wide open net, and the goalie made a great save. So could have easily had a hat trick in this game, but positive things. We'll see, once I want to see what happens when he starts to play a little bit better competition here. But score a couple goals, get the confidence going. You did what you needed to do against a much, as the superior team. So great start for Bystedt. On the flip side, Ben Gaudreau did not have a good start. And it's a little tough because a couple of the goals were goals he'd probably want back, but then Canada's defense just kind of collapsing or giving up turnovers, so it's a little bit of both type of thing. You wonder if the pool was a little bit of a mercy pool / wake up the rest of the team. So I hope Gaudreau gets another start. I assume he'll get at least another start at some point here during the round robin. But it's tough, right? With some of these goalies where, and it might have been a little bit of the snowball thing too with Gaudreau, where the defense kind of collapses on you or is in the right place, or they give up a turnover and then you let in a goal that you probably should have saved, and then you're maybe you're pressing a little bit too much and stuff. So again, don't want to say this is the end of Ben Gaudreau's career. He's never going to play. It's one game, right? And especially with goalies, where you guys know there's so much that goes on in front of goalies. I mean, we watch it with the Sharks so much, right? Where the defense just collapses. They're pressing too hard. A guy isn't where he's supposed to be. And then boom, the goalie's kind of hung out to dry. And again, I'd say a couple of the goals, Gaudreau went back, a couple of them. There's not too much he could do there, especially that first goal that he gave, just Fantilli wasn't able to tie up the forward stick, and he had a wide open net, so we'll see. I'm sure Gaudreau is probably, a little tough, probably taking a little tough there, but it's a long tournament. I would expect Milic, I think is Thomas Milic is the other goalie. I would expect him to probably start the next game. They usually have a back-to-back situation, so Gaudreau is going to get in there again at some point, and so hopefully he'll get to kind of rebuild his confidence and show that why we'll be talking about the Gaudreau once again. So yeah, World Juniors going to kind of try to keep tabs on it as best I can. So we've got Sharks and Canucks, or Sharks and Cuda tomorrow. We got more World Juniors coming up this week. A lot of fun stuff. So make sure you guys are following along. You can follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can listen wherever you get podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, Amazon Music, you name it. You can listen to it. You can watch on YouTube as well. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with a breakdown of the Sharks Canucks. And we'll probably have some Barracuda talk because I'm going to be going to the Barracuda game as well. So we're going to have you guys covered with all that tomorrow's episode. So until then, bye, friends.